Members of the House, please be seated.
Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk.
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Greg Takayama. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
Oh, please remain seated. A few days ago, I was interviewed by a UH Manoa student for her senior video project. And she happened to be a resident of Pearl City. And as we were waiting for the taping to begin, she mentioned to me that for as long as she knows, I'm the only House member she's ever had. In other words, from the time she was a 5th grader at Momilani Elementary, through May Day programs and parent-teacher nights and graduations, for the past 10 years, I'm the only House member she's ever known. And so it drove home to me at that moment that for every day we live in the moment here, we also live in the moments of thousands of people whom we represent. And it also reminded me of the tremendous trust placed in us by each of our 51 district voters. A trust that when we're rehired every 2 years, the trust that we'll be their voice here in this chamber, in this house, the people's house. I'm honored to serve alongside each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Aquino, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Bronco, Ms. Clark, Ms. Costales, Ms. Eli,
Excused.
Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Gates,
Yo.
Ms. Har, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt, Ms. Ichiyama, Mr. Ilagan, Mr. Johansson, Ms. Capella, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Bertrand Kobayashi, Mr. Dale Kobayashi,
Excused.
Mr. Kong, Mr. Lopresti,
Excused.
Ms. Lowen, Ms. Luke, Ms. Martin, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. McDermott, Mr. McKelvey, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Ono,
Excused.
Ms. Okimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Saiki, Mr. Sayama, Mr. Takayama, Mr. Takumi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Tokioka, Mr. Ward, Ms. Wildberger, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamane, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Here.
Mr. Speaker, 47 members are present, 4 are excused.
Mr. Clerk, please note the presence of Representative Lopresti. Reading of the Journal, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the Governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Thank you very much. Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Thank you very much. Members, are there any introductions? If not, thank you, members. Reports of standing committees, Representative Bellotti.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1561-22 through 1644-22 as listed on pages 1 through 26, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions, as may be amended, be referred to their designated committees.
Thank you very much. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Thank you very much, members. Page 1, Standcom Report numbers 1561 and 1562, discussion. 1563, 1564, 1565 and 1566, Representative Ward.
Speaker, you were quicker than 63, actually.
You want to go to 15, in tandem, 1563 and 1564, is that correct?
Yes, Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, very briefly, a no vote for two reasons.
Please
Number
proceed.
one, it infringes on property rights, and number two, it could be used, and I'm not saying that that's the motive, but it could be used for an excuse that we have too few houses, we have too many regulations, and we're not building enough for people. So we're trying to kind of cut off the inventory. And for people who, particularly for Hawaii, who save for a lifetime, I'm not talking about the mainland, who can't use their property according to what this is. And my daughter, as some of you know, is a lawyer for estates and trusts. And when families feud, property stays empty for years until we find out who actually ends up getting it. So I'm not sure this is a good piece of legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, members, stand from report numbers 1563 and 1564, Representative McDermott.
No vote, and comments of my colleague entered as my own.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, Representative Okimoto. So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Okay, if not, thank you, members. Going to move on to stand from report numbers 1565 and 1566, discussion. 1567 and 1568. 1569, discussion. 1570 and 1571. 1572 and 1573. 1574 and 1575. 1576 and 1577. 1578 and 1579, discussion. 1580, discussion. 1581 and 1582. 1583 and 1584. 1585 and 1586. 1587 and 1588. 1589, 1590. 1591 and 1592. 1593 and 1594. 1595. 1596 and 1597. 1598, 1599. 1600 and 1601. 1602 and 1603. 1604 and 1605. 1606. Yes, on 1604 and 1605.
Yes, please.
Yes,
With
Representative Capella.
reservations.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Further discussion, members? If not, thank you. We're going to move on to stand from report number 1606, discussion. 1607 and 1608. 1609 and 1610. 1611 and 1612. 1613 and 1614. 1615 and 1616. 1617 and 1618. Representative McDermott.
No on both.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Further discussion? Representative Okimoto.
Same request, please.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Representative Matsumoto.
Same request.
So ordered. Thank you. Representative Ward.
Ditto.
So ordered. Thank you very much. Further discussion, members? Thank you for report numbers 1617 and 1618. Yes, Representative Peruso.
In strong support.
Strong support. Please proceed.
So I think that the expressions of homophobia that we saw in response to HB 1697 suggests that we need to continue to do this work, and this is an effort to do it in a way that's more place-based, student-centered, and culturally appropriate.
Thank you, Representative. Representative Tam.
In support, and can I have the comments inserted into the journal as if they were my own?
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, members? If not, thank you very much. We're going to move on to stand report number 1619 and 1620. 1621, 1622. 1623 and 1624. 1625 and 1626. Discussion. 1627, 1628. 1629 and 1630, 1631 and 1632, 1633 and 1634, 1635 and 1636, 1637 and 1638, 1639 and 1640, 1641 and 1642, 1643 and 1644. Okay, members, will be taking a voice vote on these resolutions. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Bellotti.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report numbers 1645-22 through 1659-22 as listed on pages 26 through 30, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions as may be amended be adopted.
Thank you very much. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. Members, bottom of page 26, Stand Committee Report numbers 1645 and 1646, discussion. Thank you, members. Stand Committee Report numbers 1647 and 1648, 1649 and 1650, 1651 and 1652. Yes, Representative Capella.
No vote, please.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Representative Russo.
No vote, please.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, Stand Committee Report numbers 1651 and 1652. If not, thank you, members. Stand Committee Report numbers 1653 and 1654, discussion. 1655 and 1656. Stand Committee Report number 1657, discussion. And Stand Committee Report numbers 1658 and 1659, discussion. Representative Matayoshi.
In opposition.
In opposition, please proceed.
I want to emphasize that coffee leaf rust is a very, very serious disease that does need to be dealt with. I want to make sure that every penny that the state is spending to fight this disease is spent in the right way. And this came through our committee, and the Department of Agriculture testified that the science behind using organic fertilizers to fight this is not only cost prohibitive, but the science is not there, that it's just not effective. So if we are going to be urging the Department of Agriculture to be spending a lot of money on a treatment that is not scientifically based, I just cannot stand in support of this measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, members? Representative Capella, followed by Representative Tokioka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In strong support.
Strong support. Please proceed.
The reason this resolution was introduced is because there are organic coffee farmers in my community and across our state that can't utilize some of the subsidies that the DOA is currently allowing. Organic farmers need an organic option in order to continue to have their organic certifications. So I trust the farmers in my district, and I will continue to uplift their voices. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Tokioka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With reservations,
So ordered. Please proceed.
as a member of the Agriculture Committee, we heard the same testimony and had the same concerns at that time. So with reservations, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, Representative Russo.
In strong support.
Strong support. Please proceed.
So this testimony was provided at, before the Committee on Agriculture, and I did want to add to this conversation by saying that oftentimes the science is lagging around organic methods. So while the scientific studies have not yet been completed, they are in the process of being completed, and this work is being done. It just is not the kind of work actually that we have enough of. So we don't have enough investigation into these questions, and I think that the farmer saying that the strength of the plants can be helped with organic fertilizer as a preventative measure in addressing coffee leaf rust. I think that that's important testimony.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Onishi.
Thank you, Speaker. In opposition.
Opposition, please proceed.
Yes, and can I have the words of the speaker from Kaneohe added in the journal as my own?
So ordered.
And I'd like to also add that I have had discussions with the, I guess, the foremost expert in regards to coffee in the state of Hawaii, who works for CITAR. And she also believes that the best way to address the coffee leaf rust is through the treatment with fungicides versus the use of fertilizer. Fertilizer does not significantly improve the treatment of coffee leaf rust on coffee trees. So, in opposition. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Further discussion, members? Yes, Representative Martin.
With reservations.
So ordered. Thank you, Representative. Is there any further discussion on Stand Committee Report number 1659? Okay, if not, members, we'll be taking a voice vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, are there any announcements? Representative Capella.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Transgender Day of Visibility. Today and every day, we celebrate our transgender community. We have much to celebrate today, but I also want to take a moment to recognize the continued harms facing our trans community, specifically transgender women of color. Of the 375 trans and gender diverse people who were reported to have been murdered last year, 96% of them were trans women or femmes. 89% of those killed in the US were people of color, and 43% of those killed were migrants. We as a body must do more to end the epidemic of violence and discrimination towards trans women and girls of color who continue to be killed and assaulted at disproportionately higher rates than the rest of the queer community. I yield to the representative from Wahiawa and co-chair of the House Keiki Caucus.
Thank you very much, Representative Peruso.
Mr. Speaker, according to the CDC, almost 2% of high school students identify as transgender. Applied to all youth, this means that there are at least 1.3 million or more trans youth nationwide. And of this number, 80% of transgender students said they've avoided bathrooms because they felt unsafe or uncomfortable. 64% of transgender students avoided gym class because they felt unsafe or uncomfortable. And 59% of transgender students had been required to use a bathroom that did not match the gender they live every day. We can do more to ensure transgender youth feel safe, seen, and heard in our educational institutions. Thank you. I yield to the representative from Waikiki and chair of the House Equality Caucus.
Thank you very much. Representative Tam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Trans people live in poverty at elevated rates, and for trans people of color, these rates are even higher. Around 29% of trans adults live in poverty, and as well as 39% of Black trans adults do, 48% of Latinx trans adults, and 35% of Asian, Alaska Native, Native American, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander trans adults do as well. More than one quarter, 29% of trans adults have been refused healthcare by a doctor or provider because of their gender identity. This sobering data reveals a healthcare system that has failed to meet their needs. As we move forward, I hope that we continue to prioritize policies that uplift the well-being of our transgendered and non-binary community. Our trans community needs more than just visibility. They need action and attention. A happy Transgender Day of Visibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Representative. Members, are there any further announcements? Representative Lowen.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to remind everyone the Environmental Caucus is hosting a 2 p.m. informational session on Zoom to get an update from the cesspool conversion working group. And everyone is welcome to attend. I know it conflicts with some hearings, so you're welcome to have a staff person attend in your stead if you can't. And I think Zoom invites were sent out to everybody.
Thank you very much. Representative Ward.
Speaker, lunch will be served immediately after session with Bishop Silva giving a message in room 437. On behalf of your office and mine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Representative. Further announcements, members? If not, for the motion to adjourn, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Representative Matsumoto.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Thank you very much. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.